Okay, so this week the hope and plan is to finally get these gardens buttoned up and be done with this part. That's going to be a little bit predicated on whether or not the fittings come in that I'm waiting for the watering system, but at least the beds themselves should be done, and hopefully I'll have that sink wrapped up as well. So, gonna have to start cutting on this, throwing it into the bed. This one's gonna wait maybe till tomorrow to get it filled because it is the paint is drying on the outside. I put a second coat of that Rust-Oleum. So it's gonna be a long time because my chainsaw carburetor is clogged up and I don't feel like taking it off and soaking it right now. So this is all gonna be with the reciprocating saw. Yeah, that's how it always goes. So one of the pieces of advice that my parents gave from when they built their raised beds a couple of years ago is to make sure I do a good job of stacking this wood in instead of just kind of chucking it in and making it whatever. Is to actually stack it better and then do a better job of getting the soil to sift down into the wood. Because the problem they ran into their first year was they kind of put it in, dumped the dirt on and everything, but after a month or so of watering, it all settled, so they ended up losing a bit of height in the bed. So I'm gonna take my time and try to do this right. I think you're gonna be, well, you might fit. How about that? Haven't had to cut any so far. I'll take that good luck. This will be the video where my dad will be sitting in his chair calling me a dummy for breaking some of these over my knee instead of cutting them. Not that I know how he thinks or anything. Depending on how this goes, he may even get to watch me go full Bo Jackson on one of these. Getting a decent little layer going in there now. Definitely realizing I'm gonna need at least one more truckload of branches and stuff, if not two. Just depending on how full I want to put this with branches. The more I put down there, the more it'll decompose and keep these beds that much better for that much longer. And to be honest, while this job is by no means bad, if I can get to a point where I only do this once every 5 years, I have to agitate it, turn the soil over and everything, but only ever actually fill them every 5-10 years, I think that's pretty good spot. Because by then, with any luck, I will be primarily farming and not working on restoring a house every day. That would make life a lot easier. Okay, so far I've got that much wood in the bottom. I think that's gonna be good for now. That's a fair amount. It's probably 8 inches deep in most places. So I am gonna go ahead and fill this one. I'm just gonna have to be cautious not to touch the sides. The inside isn't wet, it's just this blue on the outside. So as long as I don't touch the sides, it's fine. So I can put the rest of that in there, and once that's in, I can make another trip up to the woods, get another truckload, throw it in there, and then I think I'll run to the farmer and get some manure. I gotta say, I'm listening to some true crime in my headphone today, and there are some jacked up people in the world. But it does make for an entertaining listen. May have to switch to some blues or classic rock or something after this. Just to lighten the mood a little bit. good one. So I also, while I was up at the woods, got a 55-gallon bag of leaves to put on top of these sticks. So I'm gonna dump that in both of these beds, and then we'll make our first trip to get the first load of manure. I would also normally, if this were a little later in the year, on top of these leaves, I would put some grass clippings, but we have not started mowing yet. Okay, so I actually drove to the next 2 towns over looking for manure. Couldn't find it, but like an idiot, when I came back, I just went to the farm across the road, asked him. He had a ton of manure. Good guy, always willing to help me out. So he loaded us up, so we're gonna go ahead and get some manure thrown in here. What that was about. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. One of my best friends growing up, his parents were both deaf, and his dad just drove by, and he was signing to me that he really likes our channel and the work we're doing. Now, don't let me saying that fool you. When I was a kid, I spoke pretty decent sign language. I could hold a conversation with them. I could understand what they were saying. I could do it back very slowly, but I could follow it pretty quickly. At this point, I don't remember really much of any of it, but I can still decipher some things, what he's saying. And they were always very good to me, his parents. They were good people. Going to go very light in these beds because manure is good fertilizer, but if you put too much, you can essentially burn the crop that you're growing. We went through a lot of that when I owned the lawn care company in Texas. You have to watch the nitrogen levels and all that, or you burn the grass. Because these beds are very shallow, we're not going to have to put a ton in them. All right, last bed. And then we are heading over to some lady that's local. I don't know who she is, but Charlotte has sourced all this out. I guess we are going to surprise Bean with letting her pick out a new cat. Some local lady has a new litter, and we're not going to pick the cat up today apparently, but she can go over and look at him and pick which one she wants. We can kind of go from there, so that'll be good for Bean. So we went and got a load of mushroom compost. We're We're gonna put a layer of that on top of the manure. Then I'm gonna make a second trip and get 2 yards of topsoil. We'll put a little bit, we'll kind of mix it with the compost, and then we'll top it off with a nice 6-8 inches of topsoil on top of that. Like I was saying yesterday, you don't want to mix this stuff too hot because then you can burn and actually kill what you're trying to grow. So this is a kind of a back and forth game to make sure you try to get it right without going too over the top. But you want to make sure you have the nutrients in here so that you're not having to switch out the soil in your beds with any kind of regularity. You want it to be every few years. But just like the video of doing the driveway, parking space, this is going to be a lot of shoveling. I don't have my chipper helper out here either. You know how much she loves shoveling. Looks like we're gonna get hit with some rain, so I'm trying to get this done before that blows in. I should say too, we did go yesterday and look at the cats that the local lady had. And she said, you know, it'd be really helpful if you took 2 of them because they're young. And Charlotte asked my opinion, and since Bean has been so responsible with the last cat, she never has to be told to get up and feed her in the morning. She never had to be told to do any of that stuff. So I decided, well, I didn't decide, Charlotte and I decided that we would go ahead and let Bean get 2. I did give her the warning though that 2 kittens has the potential to be twice as much heartbreak if something happens. We didn't bring them home yesterday because I wanted to make sure that the barn was set up and ready. We washed the cat bed so that the kittens are a little bit more okay with climbing in it. So I think we're going back tomorrow to pick up the new kittens. Okay, got the first 3,000 pounds worth of topsoil. I'm gonna put it in these 2 beds to start. I have a feeling I'm gonna need to make 1 more trip. Hopefully only need 500 to 1,000 pounds worth after this. But I gotta dump it to find out. One of the things we're gonna do is kind of rake this topsoil in with that compost and manure a little bit, just the first layer or 2, just to get it kind of mixed in. Charlotte has informed me that she'll be done in about an hour and a half, which I told her is probably about the time I'll be done shoveling, so she's pretty lucky. Not really though, because she's still working a regular job. No, I should say, I'll be starting another regular job here very shortly. A friend of mine from high school is hiring me for his construction company, mainly just through the summer. Because believe it or not, all this work we're doing around here costs some money. And it's not like we're exactly YouTube famous to count on that income. So, regular job it is. All right, I kind of mix this. Get this first layer mixed up a little bit. I hate to do it, but I might need to invest in another shovel. My little coal shovel's great, but when you're shoveling any kind of quantity like this, it's pretty friggin' small. Definitely gonna need more dirt. All right, so this will be about the 8,000th pound, I think. This will be about 8,000 pounds today. I am starting to hit the wall, starting to get exhausted. So we're gonna see if we can just kind of do this one of these numbers to get some of this a little faster. Definitely earned the bourbon tonight. Day 2, day 3, I don't freaking know. But another day. I am on the last load of dirt or topsoil. This will be roughly the 10,000th pound I have shoveled in the last 2 days. But this should be it. And the beds are ready for whenever the seedlings, once the last frost is gone, and the seedlings can be moved outside. Which in this area, the last frost is usually, you don't plant really outside until around May, because you can still be getting frost up until that point. So we've got a minute, but I want these things ready because then as the rain continues to hit, the soil will soften up a little bit, as well as settle to where it's going to actually rest. And then I'm not trying to rush around doing this while also working a job. So as per every job that I've done that involves shoveling, my measurements were off. And so now this is 12,000 pounds in 2 days. All right, finally, 12,000 pounds shoveled, beds are filled, ready to go. Now I can move on to the next part of the job. We're gonna walk over to the old shop pile, start looking through the metal pipe that's over there, pick out a few for some posts, get that cut up, installed, get the fence put on, and then I think that'll be about enough for this week. Not gonna lie, I'm getting a little too old for this shoveling crap. So first thing I got to do is, my chicken wire is 36 inches long, or 36 inches high rather. So ideally I want these to be sticking out of the ground at least 36 inches. So let's see what size we've got. 220 inches, just over 18 feet. So 4.5 feet. Yeah, 4.5 feet will be perfect. That'll give me 1.5 feet in the ground. 4.5 feet, yep. All right. My dad had mentioned that these might be cast iron fittings, and if they are, then if I hit them, they should just break off. If not, I'm gonna say no. So I wonder, I doubt this thing's gonna spin. It's been rusted in place for, well, it is spinning some. Where is it spinning? I don't even, it's not immediately obvious. Well, maybe I can. Well, we're just going to cut that off because I've had about as much of that as I care to have. We're going to test them both, see which one cuts fastest. Reciprocating saw or angle grinder. So far, the reciprocating saw is cutting pretty damn fast. Come on. I should say, I know in general a sawzall's a little faster, but my blades aren't exactly new. There. Now we're going to try the grinder on one. Just need to make a mark. I've got my eye protection. I think it was Duncan TIV is the name, as well as Danger Zone, that commented on last week's video saying about me wearing eye protection. And you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. And to be honest, I should know better. I'm not going to go into an astronomical amount of detail, but during my second tour overseas, one of the times I was hit by an IED, I got kind of peppered with shrapnel. And I got some in the shoulder and some stuck in the back of my vest. And when I got back to the base, I didn't know about a lot of it because of adrenaline. When I got back to the base, I found that a piece of shrapnel had wedged right in my eye protection. And you have to wear special eye protection in the service. It's ballistic rated. So it stopped it. Otherwise I'd be wearing a pirate's patch. So you would think at this point, after all that I would know better. But honestly, when it comes to grinding, I don't usually mess with it. When it comes to cutting, that's a different story, because this sends crap flying everywhere and I'd rather not get it in the eye. But just know, I hear you and I do appreciate it. Well, looks like I can lose the iPro. That answers that question. Reciprocating saw, even with the dull blade, is much faster. That's 2. That's 3 and 4. All right, we got our 4 corner posts. That right there looks like it's the same size. Oh, come on. What do you got on the end of you? Oh, yep. That and this. There's my gate posts and my other side post. This is going to be the most unnecessarily hardcore garden fence ever constructed. But why buy crap if I can reuse the crap that's left laying around here? So one for that corner, one for that corner, one for this corner, one for that corner. Probably do 2 along the side, 2 by the gate I'm going to put in. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to put 4 posts in each corner, or 1 post in each corner, so 4 corner posts. Then I'm going to put 1 in the middle on each side, and then 2 here where the gate's going to be. Now the one consideration is, this splits between these 2 beds because the raised beds don't need to be fenced. Now you can stand really close to that bed and reach everything. This, whoever's weeding it, is going to have to get down on their knees. I don't know if you can see Jack laying in it right now, like a meathead. This is going to also be good defense to keep the dog out. But I need to make enough room so that a person can get in here and kind of get down on their knees and weed without getting too god-awful far over that way. What?
Dog.
Oh, I know. You're on camera.
It's gonna be a problem.
Well, not for long. I'm fencing it. I'm trying to leave enough room that you can get on your knees to weed this, but not put it so close over here that...
Well, can you just make it a square and leave this as a gap?
You mean fence all of it?
What were you gonna fence?
Just the low beds.
Oh.
I can fence it all.
It's fine. Do whatever you need to do.
It's barely like I've done anything this week, so. So as you saw, we were discussing our differences and ideas of how we were going to do this. For a minute, I was thinking I'll just fence the whole thing, make it easier, give her what she wants. However, I looked. If I put these all the way out here, it still gives you 2 feet to walk beside the raised ones, which is tons. And even I'm tall enough, or even there's enough room for me, and I'm significantly taller, that I can still fit on my knees, reach in the middle and get whatever. So this should be fine. The main reason I decided that is I'm trying to think ahead, and I know I'm going to forget 15 things, but one of the things is going to be, this is all grass, so it's going to have to be mowed, weed eated, all that crap. The more that's fenced in, the more of a pain it is to get the mower in here and around crap. And if it's just this, you can probably just push mow 2 stripes down the middle and weed eat the outer edge. Maybe push the mower around once and then weed eat and be done. That's a lot easier than going around 4 beds, 2 composters, and then I might even do a 5th bed over there. So that's why I'm doing it this way. It should still be tons of room. Two by 4 would work much better. Making some progress now. Yeah, it's a lot more to hammer in. Now, maybe I can just, let's say, a bit below my pocket. I think that's gonna do it. How about that? That's one. 5 more times. That's all. Just 5. Definitely gonna have to take a grinder to the top of this. Run all those burrs off of there. I don't know if anybody's keeping track, but that is 12,000 pounds of crap shoveled. I think 4 truckloads of branches and 8 steel posts pounded in. Okay, so today should be the final day on this. Fittings have not come in, and it's saying at least another week now until the fittings, so this may be the final video on the gardens for another week or 2 until that comes in. All I have left to do today is I'm going to cut and grind the tops of these where I marred them all up, hammering them in with the sledge yesterday. Then I'm going to dig down probably 2-3 inches to recess the fence down into the ground. Otherwise, rabbits will dig down under it and still get in here. So I'm going to dig that in, put the fence in, then build a gate for the front, and that should be it for this. Which, if I'm being honest, makes me happy. This has been a good job. I have not minded. It's been very exhausting. But I think I'm about ready. I've started pricing stuff out, so I think next week's video or the week after, depending on the fittings, I'm going to start sinking posts to start building a back porch on this house. A lot of stuff hinges on that. We can't do siding, we can't do windows, we can't put the front porch on. A lot of things are in limbo, but I can sink the posts and build 95% of the back porch. I'm gonna make it, I'm not gonna get super into it. I'll go into that when we get to that video. But that's a job that I am truly excited to do, because that is gonna start the cascade of making this house, taking it from looking like this to looking like an actual home. This one might need to be cut a little bit first. Let's try this one. So my hands are starting to hurt a little bit. Oh well, such is life. This part of the job is not going to be super difficult. It's going to be annoyingly tedious. I don't know how many of you have ever really messed with chicken wire. It works great, but it's also kind of a pain to manipulate.
All right, you want us to start putting the dirt in here?
I need cylinder. We have extra grass in our property.
Oh, that happened.
Okay, is there, if you can cram, right over here, if you can cram it in, I know it doesn't seem like there's room, but I think that's the key, is to really cram it in.
What I'm going for the look is like a rainbow. Big rainbow. It's like, this is gonna be red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple.
Don't touch it.
Well, it's kind of like crinkling up.
Let me show you. I got it.
Okay.
There we go. Back and forth.
I feel like I'm doing graffiti for some reason. Okay. Now we're moving on to orange. The quantities of the colors are too. I'm enjoying this a lot. It is not coming out. It's coming out like silly string here. Daddy, it's not coming out like spray paint, it's coming out like silly string.
Okay, we're gonna have to stop now. We're gonna have to warm that paint up.
Okay, we're back. Finally. We had to stop yesterday because the yellow paint started to turn into silly string. I like to call it silly string at least. Okay, now we're moving on to green. I'm gonna do something that is kind of fun to do to start this green layer off. I'm gonna make a ancient civilization number thing. I can't do it anymore. So I just finished green, but since there's already blue on here, I'm not gonna use the blue. And I'm just gonna skip right to purple. Then we can move to the next side. Yay! It doesn't matter if it drips either. It's just gonna look cool.
All right, like I said, as long as you're doing a good job and not just rushing it, then I don't care.
Sweet.
What?
Blue has to soak some more.
Okay.
Let's do red.
Your Uncle B-Rad taught me that about the spray paint.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
That's sick. Let's grab a whole bunch of colors and see what you can do with it. We're about to put blue on here to finish our Skittles mural. We're gonna put S's on these colors later after they dry, and they're gonna turn into like Skittles. We've officially finished our Skittles mural. Take one last good look at this. So for here, I'm having a good idea of doing like maybe some rainbow stripes, or maybe some orangey stripes, orangey red, maybe even the fire logo, because I like that logo. So I'm gonna debate that real quick, and then I'll be back in a sec. I've chosen my idea for the back. It's gonna be like hearts with like maybe a rainbow inside of them, or more hearts. So we're gonna get to work on that. Let's get the red. So got the huge heart done. For this first big heart, I'm gonna write a word in it. It's for my sister, because I think she'll like it. This is gonna be my favorite part, because I'm gonna do something adorable. I'm going to put 2 things on here. Then mommy and daddy are gonna put 2 things on here, but they have to be Easter themed. The other one, we're just writing sweet little things on there. That's why there's hearts. But this one, it has to be Easter themed. So I think I'm gonna put some Easter eggs and some grass, and then see what the rest of my family does. Okay, and here's what I did. Pretty nice. I've got some grass down here, Easter eggs, and then I'm gonna hope someone fills in the sun.
Got this wood cut to make this gate for the garden. I need to see if I can find my stapler. I don't know if I know where it is. I'm gonna staple some chicken wire in this. Screw these down on the corners, hold it in place. Making something like this definitely shows me just how off my miter saw is. Because these should, you know, they're all 45s. They should match up pretty dang close, and they are not clean at all. Oh well, clean enough for a garden gate. Okay, so it's Friday. I am finally at just about a good stopping point. I'm about to go in and try to get Bean's 4-wheeler running so that she can drive her mom up the road to get some leaves for the composters. So I gotta get that done, but I figured I would give you guys a closing on this week's work. So we got the beds filled. I got this pipe fencing put in. We got the chicken wire wrapped around it. Got a gate built. I do have a latch to close that. I just haven't gotten it installed yet. So I got this done. Bean got to work painting on the side of the bed. She painted all 4 sides rather. Got some Easter egg on this side with some grass. Nice rainbow. Polka dots that she said are like Skittles on this side. And then a bunch of I love yous all over this side. So, garden is just about done. Charlotte has requested a little bit more work. We are going to drag those clawfoot tubs over here. I'm gonna put them right here, dig them and lay them in place. She wants to plant pollinator flowers in there, or flowers for the pollinators rather. And she would also like an in-ground garden dug here, basically just till the ground up and she wants to plant corn over here. So maybe that'll give Pappy an excuse to bring his new tractor over and give it a go. But all in all, this was a lot of labor for a couple of days. But I am glad to have it done, and soon enough, it will be growing our food. So this week I will say, we have made some freaking progress. All right.